Welcome to NASPA Tonight. I'm your host, Josh Greenway. Tonight, we will be talking with a very special guest. That is Evan Berofsky. We'll be talking about the upcoming Niagara Falls International Open. We will also be playing Teach Josh to Play Scrabble, which is going to be another fun version of that game. But first, what I would like to do is talk about a couple of Scrabble news items that we've been tracking for the last couple of weeks. I want to thank everybody for joining. I see people coming in on the, I guess we're online on like five different Facebook feeds. But number one, we have an answer as to what's happening with the North American Scrabble Championship as it travels west to Reno, Nevada. The last time I took a look, it looks like we're going to be at about 261. I don't know if there's been a more recent number than that, but that's the player total that I saw. Hopefully between now and when the event goes off, we'll be closer to 300 people. Obviously, this is not the number that everybody would like to see for a nationals, but it's also important to think about. There are a couple of different reasons, obviously, that numbers are down a little bit this time. The last time we were in Reno, we were at 350 people, and this year we have the overlap between the North American Scrabble Championship and the World Cup, which is unfortunate, and different people explain that different ways. Obviously, NASPA announced the NASC a little bit later, but they certainly announced it during their traditional scheduling period. And because of that delay, the World Cup kind of moved into that traditional area, and between those two issues we ended up with this conflict. So some people have had to choose between one event or the other. The good news is that when it comes to the NASC, even though the numbers are going to be down a little bit this year, is we moved the NASC around to different parts of the country so that many different players get to play in it. And we know that Scrabble on the West Coast is not as, there aren't as many players on the West Coast as there are on the East Coast. So I would expect us next year to see a bounce in the number of people attending NASC. So we'll look forward to that. The other thing is Reno offers really attractive contract deals out of this. What am I looking for? Contract terms. So the fact that this is a very low risk tournament when it comes to NASPA for kind of liability issues. Whenever NASPA decides to run an NASC, they take on a lot of risk. So Reno actually represents cutting that risk. So anyway, there's some positive and negatives, but the big positives are we're going to name a new national champion, which is fantastic. This is one of the best ways that we have to promote the fact that there is competitive Scrabble in the first place. We've definitely talked with people on this show who have learned about the competitive scene because we do that. We also get to do our NASC live stream, which we know went to over 250,000 people last year. So we're going to continue to do those things, and honestly, I can't wait. I had a hell of a lot of fun the last time I was in Reno, and even though the numbers may be down a little bit, I'm looking forward to more fun this year. The other story that we've been tracking over the last couple of weeks is NASPA Advisory Board elections. So we do have a region where there are going to be two candidates, and we are going to have an election. So that is in U.S. South. and we'll do more on that on this show. I think voting might be open now, or it opens this week or something like that. So we'll do some more profiles on that. But certainly in the past, we've had more candidates than we have today, and we'll see what happens. My only complaint about what's going on is the seat that I hold. Nobody's contesting it, so I don't get to run an election this year, and I get voted back in. I don't know what they call that when you're not running against anybody. Anyway, those are a couple of updates for what's going on. We've obviously got Niagara Falls coming up this weekend. I think we also have Nashville coming up this weekend. I cannot wait. At some point, I am going to go to Nashville to participate in a tournament there. I've always wanted to go to that part of the country. So there are going to be a lot of happy Scrabblers coming up this weekend. So let's talk about a specific set of them with my very special guest, Evan Berofsky. Let me bring him in here. All right, Evan. Here we go. Here he is. I want to provide a little bit.
Sorry, you woke me up there. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna give Evan a little bit of an intro here. All right, Evan, hold your sarcastic comments for just a minute. Evan Berofsky began his Scrabble journey over 20 years ago at the Toronto Scrabble Club, North America's oldest club and one of the best attended clubs in anywhere. Within just a few years, he achieved an expert Scrabble rating and went on to win the Toronto Scrabble Club Championship 10 times between 2003 and 2013. In 2013, he moved from Canada to the United States to marry the love of his life. And while he doesn't play in as many tournaments as he used to, he keeps winning them regularly. He's played in almost 200 tournaments and won 44 of them, which makes for a pretty impressive ratio. In recent years, he's won the Niagara Falls tournament, he's won Shediac, New Brunswick, and the Crescent City Cup in New Orleans. He joins us here tonight to look ahead to the 2019 Niagara Falls International Open. Evan, how are you?
I am doing great, and it's an honor to be here. Did that sound sincere? Okay.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. So you have been to 4 of these Niagara Falls events. You were not able to make it this year. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And from the pre-show research that we did, we believe that you've been to all of the events until now. It looks like this is the 5th year of Niagara Falls. Maybe if somebody knows out there, like for sure if this is the 5th year, they can throw a comment up on Facebook. I'll be watching those comments throughout the night tonight. So what gives? Why aren't you coming up? You've won it
other
many times?
Other commitments. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, very good. All right, you won this thing in 2016. So, but beyond the results on the board, what do you think of when you think of the Niagara Falls tournaments? Like, what are some of your favorite parts of that tournament? You've been there 4 times. You obviously must enjoy it.
It's a great tournament. A lot of people attend. Get to see a lot of people that I don't, I used to, when I lived in Toronto, got to see them a lot more often.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the participants, are from the area.
Right. So there's a little bit of a reunion factor. By the way, Chris Sykes says go Liverpool. Right. That's not your team, right? What is your soccer team?
Look behind you. Okay, you can't see it. It's Manchester United. It's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Very good.
Yeah.
So for me, when I go to Niagara Falls, certainly it's the community aspects of, all these people coming together. I like it whenever there's a very large grouping of Scrabble players. Last year, I both played and interviewed a lot of international players to put some interview stuff together, and those went up on Facebook. And it's always a good time. Like, some of my favorites in Niagara Falls are certainly going to the casino. That's a good time. Last year I had dinner, and would recommend this to anyone going to Niagara Falls this weekend. I had dinner at the Copacabana Brazilian Steakhouse. That was fantastic. It was probably about the same price, maybe a little bit more than the Keg, but just way more fun because they give you so much variety.
Yeah, lots. I had originally, when they were asking for, I originally put my name down on reservations, and I thought, you know what, I don't think I can eat that much, and a bunch of us went elsewhere.
For sure. Now, you have an interesting tournament ritual where you generally get up really early, kind of go for a walk, and maybe go for breakfast or go different places. Do you have a place like that in Niagara Falls where you do that?
I have been to a couple places. The Flying Saucer restaurant in Niagara Falls, I've been to a few times before. Like, I go maybe once during the tournament, and I've done that possibly every year that I've been there.
Right. And did we go together to the first year of Niagara Falls? I hope I'm not misremembering this. To a little tea house one day at lunch?
Yep. Yeah, we did. That's right, for lunch. And we got back late from lunch because it was the service was a little well, I mean, they're very precise in their service there.
Sure, absolutely. So anyway, lots to see and do in Niagara Falls. Certainly going down and looking at the falls. One of the great things about Niagara Falls is, I mean, I've been on record on this show. I always prefer multi-day tournaments that take place at one venue, like a hotel. This one does not, but the interesting thing is Niagara Falls is so small that it's easy to meet up with people and whatever. What I don't like about multi-days that don't take place at hotels is how kind of everybody scatters and you don't see them again until they're in the plane room the next day. So
yeah, the downtown area for Niagara Falls is pretty condensed.
For sure. And you've got the roadway in where I think I've ended up staying pretty much every time I've gone there. And that's always a good place to meet up with people and stuff like that. So let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing coming up. What am I trying to say? Let's look at the contenders for this year. So I'm going to bring up on screen here. What's the best way to do this? How does this look? That does not look good at all. Okay, I think we're going to do it this way. So, and
I could just hold my phone up to the screen. Okay, forget it.
No, there we go. So one of the things that is new, certainly this year, is the fact that this tournament has gone all Collins. So is that a move that you applaud? What is your take on that? This was always an event that attracted both Collins players and TWL or NWL players. But this year it's strictly a Collins tournament. And I think there are a number of reasons for that. But what's your kind of immediate take on that situation?
If it's called an international open, then they want to attract international players. I believe there's not really any country left that uses TWL as their primary outside of North America. Part of Israel maybe, but Thailand stopped doing that last year. So if they want to attract international players, then I mean, that's my initial.
So certainly there are players, and this was more a discussion at the time that this change happened. But there were players who were, certainly not thrilled. They had always, like, players that I know, because I play TWL, who always looked forward to Niagara Falls, Obviously, they weren't going to be going this year. Although, interestingly enough, a handful of those people and are playing Collins at the event this year. But people were, a little upset. But at the same time, I think the thing to remember is that when it comes to any kind of Scrabble event, it really comes down to what the directors want to do. NASPA works hand in hand with their directors. To extend that hand-in-hand metaphor, sometimes you can say the directors are kind of at arm's length in terms of the way those tournaments get organized. And the fact that in this case, the tournament organizers wanted to go from a very large event to a more focused event made a lot of sense for them in terms of things like controlling their costs and where they were going to put their efforts and all that kind of stuff. So, I think by now most people, it's not like this is really a debate anymore. We're here, the event is happening, and it's a Collins event. So,
well, since the event changed, since funds were added to the Collins side of the event,
yes,
it became the flagship, division or lexicon. So it probably took a hit on the TWL, enough of it so that that they decided it was, I guess you're right. You're saying the cost effective too.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. I also, just before we get into these contenders, this was a picture that I shared. It's all stretched out because it was a square picture to begin with. But I always like to call this tournament Niagara Fizzy. And this is what I posted last year. So I just wanted to share that. Okay, so let's talk about these contenders. We figured out that if you were playing in this tournament, you would be the number 4. And I see Will Anderson has joined us. He's the number 3 seed coming into this tournament,
and the defending champion.
And the defending champion, absolutely. He took down Nigel Richards last year. Pretty impressive in the final 2 games, I believe, to take this tournament.
3 of the last 4, I think.
Okay, I know it was the final 2, so I think we can both be right on that. 3 of the last 4 and the final 2. But let me ask you this: looking at the field there, if you were in there as the number 4 seed, who would you be most worried about?
Everyone. Well, I mean, I know I always say I don't play main events and I have gaps and I feel like I'm rusty going to every event that I play in. So it's not that I'd be afraid. I don't think anyone I've played these players enough time, all the top players. I've played them enough times that really none of them really are, scary or anything like that.
Well, let's run through them a little bit. Adam Logan, obviously, is a former, and I always am not quite sure if I get these credential rights. Hey, Will. But the credentials certainly include, I think it's 5 Canadian championships, 1 world championship, a couple of King's Cups. I mean, I'm now out of my sort of realm of expertise. But Adam Logan is certainly a super decorated elite.
He won nationals in '96.
Okay.
Nationals.
So he won. Has he won both worlds and nationals?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
There you go. So I don't know that it gets any better than that. But then we've got Dave Wiegand, who is a powerhouse on his own with a national championship, 1 or 2, one I think. In his back pocket,
but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I lost count.
But these guys are pretty incredible. And then of course Will. Will actually is willing to answer the question The people that he's most concerned about going into this tournament include Adam and Dave. Will has a national championship under his belt. And then we get into sort of the next tier with Jason Keller, Dave Koenig, and Chris Lipe. Chris Lipe, obviously a second place finisher at the Worlds, and Keller and Koenig with their own impressive achievements as well. But it's really quite the strong field here.
Yeah, definitely. And you can't forget about Andrew Fisher, also another runner-up at the Worlds.
For sure. And on the dream team from, I guess, both Worlds and Alchemist Cup.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, for some international players, it might be hard to, take the long trip over, but I know he came in a couple of weeks early.
That's right.
Yeah, so he's no
He's
jet lag.
acclimatized.
No jet lag excuse for him.
Yeah, so very good. Okay, what else should we talk about when it comes to Niagara Falls? Do you want to predict the winner?
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at the field. I mean, it's obviously compared to last year, the attendance is a little bit down, but that's because last year's followed a nationals, so
Yes.
a whole bunch of people, and a lot of the internationals stayed for both events. I mean, I did a comparison. I mean, based on it, this year there's 7 people rated at least 2,000. Last year there was 13. There are 11
Okay.
people at least at 1,900. Last year was 25.
Right.
See, I did my homework here. 1,800, at least 1,800. There are 13 players. Last year there was 35. But I mean, that's, as I said, that a lot of that has to do with the following up NASC.
Well, and I think the funding too. I'm not sure. There was
Yeah,
some outside funding to the prize pool the last 2 years, but I don't think that's in place.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I not looked
Yeah,
at any
I
of
mean
that.
we're not privy to the way the budget works. So anyway, I don't know what kind of coverage is going to be in place. We're talking about having a NASPA social media rep there for at least part of the tournament, but some of that is still to be decided. I know there was some talk about there's always talk about trying to get some live streaming going for this event, but that's always a tough thing to budget for. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but I am sure that if you're on Scrabble Facebook, that you'll be seeing updates from this tournament all weekend long. You think that's fair to say?
Yeah, I hope so. My NASPA membership is paying for it. For the updates. Well, wait a second. I still have to renew my membership, but I might not do that until my next tournament, which might be next January. So.
I see. Okay, so what we want to do now? Let me make sure this is going to work. No, this doesn't seem to be working. So, what the other thing that we're going to do tonight is called Teach Josh to Play Scrabble. Now, you saw me talking about this last week, and you immediately messaged me during the show.
Yeah, offered my services. Yeah,
where
and it showed up
people
as a
could
banner.
That's
Yeah,
right. People could
yeah.
see it.
Yep.
On the display.
Yeah.
display. So tell me a little bit about what your feelings are when it comes to me and Scrabble.
Have you ever studied before?
Yes, I have studied. There's no question about that. I think the last time I spent a serious amount of time studying was probably something like 2009, as I, tried to learn the threes or something like that.
You might want to up your study from the threes, but that's
Why? Just
that's,
because there have been 2 dictionary updates since then?
well, that's one thing, but also for the fact that there's also there's 4s through 8s and more above that. I'm just saying. I don't know. There's a lot more words above 3s.
Yes, absolutely. That's true. So this is my attempt, Evan, to get better without studying. So let's excuse me. There we go. Let's get into Teach Josh to Play Scrabble. So here's the deal. These are all TWL games. All right, Evan?
Yeah,
Now, you,
note that my last CWL tournament was August 2014. But I did play at the Toronto Club a couple of years ago. I played 3 games and won all.
Sure,
3.
and let's try to
But-
remember that you were like a 1900 or 2000 rated player in TWL at one time, correct?
I almost hit 2000. I ended up at 1928 or something like that. Was after my last tournament.
Gotcha. Okay, well, here's the deal. When we play Teach Josh to Play Scrabble, the idea is we want to look at some possible moves, but we're not doing deep analysis here. It's more like hot take theater. What we want to talk about is sort of approach, like what I should be thinking in that game situation. And please feel free to throw your comments in terms of what to think. Oh, look, I just got a friend request. What to think about when I'm making those Scrabble moves. Okay, does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense. Let me put on my thinking cap first. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay. Oh
Jeopardy.
wait. Let me take it off. Sorry, I'm not legally allowed to wear that. Sorry.
That's a show that is going to have a hard ratings hit after yesterday, right?
Oh, well, I didn't see tonight, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but James Holzhauer's donezo.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
In case
Oh,
it's on your DVR, but
No. We don't watch it that much anymore. But we actually did watch yesterday's, even though we knew what was going to happen.
I see. Yeah, what's with the leaking of that?
Yeah, I don't understand that. Yeah, they posted it pretty early in the day, but it's whatever. It is what it is.
And I just want to say as well, Chris Hooks, thank you very much for tuning in and watching. You are not the only one watching. You happen to be watching on the NASPA Facebook page, but we've got people watching on the NASPA group, and we've got people watching on my personal timeline as well. So you can comment in all 3 places, and we'll pick those comments up. So let's take a look at this game here. I'm playing Maggie Poultier, and she's ahead by 17 points. Can you see the screen? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I can see. I can see the board. Yep.
I've got, listen, I've got 3 E's, but then like VYGO. So I'm behind by 17, but it's, super early in the game. What's your first approach here going to be?
Well, immediately I see something like YE and key and me. QAY, key, YE.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. I mean, that's the
Okay.
first thing I see. If there's
So
something
all
under.
all we're looking to do here is score, and I guess playing off YE slightly improves this rack.
Yeah, I mean, you have 3 E's. 2 E's are still pretty good for balancing. I mean, you're going to score points. You're not really going to do much else. I mean, the only other place where you could possibly score points is underneath Nick's. I mean, but you're only going to hit the NI. You're not going to hit, obviously, anything under Zach's.
Okay, all right, I like it. Let's lock that in. Now, the way we play this game is we alternate making Scrabble moves, and what do I do next? Oh, I guess I go back here. And asking interview questions. So I have a question for you. We talked about your many Scrabble wins. What Scrabble win are you the most proud of?
The most proud of? It's a toss up between New Orleans this year
Yes.
and Malta from, was it last year?
No, it would have been
17.
just over a year ago.
Wait, 2018 or now I can't
2018.
remember. Yeah,
Because there
okay.
was 2019. Oh, I see. Irene
Yeah.
just made a play against me.
Yeah.
So
So Malta or I mean the Niagara Falls when I won Niagara Falls too, but I mean the other 2 are the toss up for me. in terms
okay, very good. I'll take that as an answer, either or. I actually forgot to mention Malta because obviously it doesn't show up on cross tables. So there we go. your total amount of wins is even better. Okay, so let's take a look at this game here where I'm playing Irene. She just put up a 40-point play. I'm 40 points ahead. You know, I'm kind of cruising here at this point, or doing well. I think I know what I would play. I want to break up those A's. I want to score some points, and I want to see if you agree with this or if you think it's dumb. I would probably play JAY above vowel. What do you think about that play?
That's not bad. Yeah, that's 32 points. That's not bad. I see something else, but that uses up 2 A's, but it's not as family friendly as your play.
I don't know what that means. Okay, so then let's go with
It's through the end. It's through the end, but it's fine. Don't worry.
All right. So
Don't worry.
We'll go with J then.
Yeah, that's fine.
Even though that could really give back some points.
Yeah,
to the right
that is, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's some huge comebacks there, possibly.
possibly.
With a V
So
or
we'll
an
see.
H or an M or
Yeah,
lots
so
of
we'll
letters.
see,
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Okay, my next question for you is, what do you think is, and you can choose either or here, what's the funniest thing or most shocking thing that has happened to you during a Scrabble game?
During an actual game, you saying?
Yeah, during an actual game. It could either be a move in the game or something crazy that happened. Can you think of anything? I remember once I was playing at the Toronto Scrabble Club, and I was playing, and I think I swept my leg over, and it knocked the leg of the table off, and the whole table.
Yeah,
started to fall down and
that's
start sliding.
happened. Yeah, that's happened at the club. I
course.
can remember at least a few times that's happened during the session. Yeah, where that's happened. But I mean, in terms of funny things or surprising or shocking, I've seen people flip boards. Yeah, in anger. But I
All
mean,
right.
that's
Oh well, flipping boards in anger. That's always exciting to see. Dan, it looks like Danielle Barker and I were thinking along the same lines with Jay up there at the top right, and Jim Brennan. The idea is we go to multiple Facebook places in order for more people to be able to see the show. But there probably are some ways that we could take a look at doing that. I take your point there, Jim. It would be fun to see everybody's comments on the same broadcast. So let's move into the next game. We've got Joe Gatz here, who is sitting 19 points behind. I'm looking at a couple of Ys. I've got an X. This is you can tell, it's a very defensive type game. People are trying not to, open anything up. I think I'm making a play like with OY under that AD and FE. But what do you see?
Yeah, I prefer to use maybe more tiles, but I see. Oh, it uses your S, but it scores 44 points.
Ooh.
Zeist, XYST, making ads and FET.
Ooh, XYST. Yeah. And it drops the X into that triple row, but what are the chances that comes back to?
Well, actually, YO you can. What did you say? YO or OY there?
OY, so you could play like.
Well, YO Menno is good. So.
What?
So YO you could technically play.
I know, but that's not going to.
Well, I mean, it's better than your original play of OY.
Menno.
Yeah. Menno, yeah,
I
Menno.
see
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. But then, I think, should I be playing off the T here or not? Or I guess the T pairs well with the second Y with the S.
I mean, you're scoring 40-something points with the play, even though you're using the S. I mean.
All right, and James Curley comes in and he says we should play sex toy. That would really.
I'm surprised that word came from his mouth.
Yeah, I'm going with your suggestion. I think that's a good one. Let's lock that in. My next question.
Wait, I said Zeist, but you're fine. That's okay.
Sorry, I'm going with your
Yeah.
suggestion to improve on
Your
my
play. Yes.
That's right. So here is my question for you. Who's your favorite celebrity or your celebrity crush?
Oh gosh. I don't really.
Come on, who's a favorite celebrity? Whose movies do you like watching?
I mean, I don't really know. I honestly I do not have someone I have you know I flock to their movies. It's not a specific person. It's usually like the I guess the superhero comic book movies are.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I
who's your
mean,
favorite superhero?
who's my favorite superhero?
Yeah, sure. That's like a celebrity these days.
Probably Iron Man. Probably would have
okay.
been my favorite. Pop
Wow, Iron Man.
Iron Man, yeah.
All right, that's good. So let's go back here. I'm playing a game against Kevin. This might be the same game that I was playing him during last week's Teach Josh to Play Scrabble. Obviously, this board, there's a lot going on this board. There's 13 left out there. I've got a vowel-heavy rack, but I'm ahead by 51 points. So tell me what you think I should be thinking about here. Like, rather than play...
Yeah, the blanks and S's are all gone, so I don't think you're going to have to worry about... the only line I can see is down from the end. The hook link is the only thing I can see, unless you can go through the U of
Right. That seems like it would be tough.
Or end in U, that would be tough. So, or the Y. I mean, ending in Y of Yod is the only other. Is really the only other feasible. Actually, while there is still 7 spots technically for that.
We also got Jonathan Lind also for a sex toy as well. So there's something about that rack that people were picking up.
So much for the family-friendly program.
First of all, I'm amazed. This is the same thing that happened last week when Josh Jr. was looking at the board. Like, he looked at it for 1 second and he goes, oh, the blanks are unseen. In your case, you immediately were like, both blanks are gone and all 4 S's are gone. I feel like I would have been counting on my fingers and taken like a minute to figure that out. So that's one thing I'm noticing is just sort of like that board awareness, like taking it all in. So what you're saying with that is that, like, I'm not super concerned about bingos, right? That if if my approach is keep scoring here, I should be in good shape. Would you say that this means that I don't have to worry about shutting down lines as much?
Well, yeah, there's really nothing to shut down. The only feasible, looks like the only feasible one, technically, I mean, there's to the Y, and technically there could be, well, I think are all the D's gone too? Yeah, all the D's are gone. Does Y take any other hooks besides SD? Doesn't take a
Yeah,
Y.
but that's...
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm just saying it fits. It technically, it could technically fit.
Okay, so let's talk about that Y hook. What is more important here, scoring points or potentially shutting down that Y hook? Or are you comfortable leaving that Y hook?
Well, you're not going to score a lot with it because 7 spots won't even hit the double word score. So if by any chance you're going to actually hit that, you're probably only going to hit 60 something. You're ahead by 51. I see a decent play of dual, D-U-A-L. Irid making nut and KA.
Okay, this always takes me a second. Dual.
D-U-A-A-L.
I like it. And it plays off 2 vowels. It leaves me with 2 O's, which is maybe not my favorite thing, but if you're going to have
double
2
O's
vowels together, absolutely. Okay, let's lock that in. Next question. Have you ever dreamed about Scrabble or have any recurring Scrabble nightmares?
Yeah, I've had dreams of Scrabble where it seems like the tournament just keeps going, and it doesn't. There's no breaks in it or any end time, or the days all merge together. That's usually. I mean, I don't. Usually my dreams aren't vivid enough that I can, see plays or anything like that or actual words.
Okay.
I can't really see it, but yeah, those are the where I'm playing in a tournament, and then suddenly it's 5 games later. The next thing I know, and it's like, well, yeah.
I've had classic anxiety dreams about Scrabble tournaments, like not being able to get there on time, getting there and having 10 seconds on the clock and all that kind of stuff. Like if you play this much Scrabble, you're pretty much going to have a dream. If anybody has had Scrabble dreams in there and wants to share it in the comments, would love to see those. Okay, am I going to get to play my play here? I've obviously set it all up on the rack.
Yeah, it doesn't look. It doesn't. I don't. It doesn't look good.
Okay, I'm ahead by 4. I have
okay.
a bingo on my rack. What would you call this? I mean, obviously it's a natural bingo.
It's a non-go.
Like
a non-go is
yeah,
non-go
it's like
is one that is
right.
one that doesn't go.
Yes.
Technically, that's the term used.
Okay,
for it,
so
I guess.
what am I thinking about at this point? Like
how many are
again,
left in the? How many are left
21.
in the? 21. Okay,
so there's still like
enough.
There are 2 S's out there.
Yeah,
the bag looks somewhat vowel heavy because out of 21, I'm counting 10, 11, 12 vowels.
12 vowels, yeah.
Out of 21.
Yeah. That's 28, isn't it? Because the 7 from her.
No, I think
20?
that includes.
Oh, that includes that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't play
okay.
on the.
That's still. I mean, it's still even with that. Yeah.
For sure. So, okay. What are we thinking about now with this situation? Now that I've gotten over the fact that I'm not going to be able to play my bingo.
This is, I mean, you'd want to probably get rid of the U. I mean, there's the Q still. It doesn't. I mean,
the Q has not been played.
Not been played, but I mean that shouldn't really.
Tiles.
Yeah, I mean, plus, and you have AT. There's an open I there in case you need to.
Can I play anything from that upper left triple down to the Y?
Well, yeah, that's what I was looking at there.
But I don't
nothing.
See
I don't see any. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't.
Danielle dreams about anagrams. That's good. Study while you sleep. Okay, so what are we doing here? What's your approach with this?
Wow,
play?
yeah.
You're the expert.
Last time I checked, yeah. Yeah, this is tough here. I know I have to pick something, I guess. Gee.
What can we do with that P?
P.
I mean, I'm not seeing anything where that's going to be a big play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's. Yeah,
this
nothing.
is one of those turns that can take this is where you got to do a little thinking as it goes. But we got to come up with a play here, buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
How about OVA on top of oil?
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, there's still a couple of 3 A's left. Yeah,
it doesn't give anything away. It's 20 points.
Yeah, let's get the show on the road. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little something next to that. It opens up that double. Actually, it's better that it's like this on the double word. And there's no what about, how do you spell au pair?
No, I don't think that's a word. That's 2 words, I believe.
Okay. So there we go. We'll lock that in. So that is how we play, teach Josh to play Scrabble. I'll ask you one more question, and that is, what's something that nobody knows about you, Evan? Or let's say the audience. What's something that the audience does not know about you?
I had a drawing. I had a drawing that was once housed, or once was on display at the Children's Museum in Tel Aviv, Israel.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was it a drawing of?
It was in grade 5. There was a contest in our school, I guess. and it was to draw. It was a picture of one of like a landmark in Toronto, and
What was the landmark? Was it the CN Tower?
it was Casa Loma, Casa Loma.
Okay. Yes.
I think it was part of the front of it, and I drew it, and it was based on the photo, and I drew it, and mine was chosen as the one. What other people don't know about that is that my dad, who was a graphic artist, actually helped me with it. So
we were.
yeah, I know. I mean, yeah.
That's hilarious. Look at this. We drew. That's utilize, right?
No, utilizes two eyes.
No, it's not two eyes. Okay.
It's okay.
Oh well. Okay, so that is going to do it for that. Let's come back to this view here, and we'll get rid of this graphic. I want to thank you for coming on the show, Evan, or returning to the show. You've been on the show before. By the way, Josh Jr. had a really kind of madman play for that scenario that we were trying to come up with. I should really have it up on the board to show it, but he wanted to play outa under the Z.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
To open up both triples.
And you got the P. You got the P to.
I got the P, exactly.
P for that. Yeah.
It seems sufficiently aggressive to set up your P both ways.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, but man, that's definitely aggressive.
That's out of bounds. Yeah.
Yeah, but also I think it takes advantage of how many vowels were in the bag that I'd be going down to just one vowel to play it. And then, anyway, so that's an interesting play as well. Okay, Evan, I want to thank you for your expert Scrabble insights, for your help in previewing Niagara Falls, for your revelation of your forged drawing in the Tel Aviv Art Gallery.
Okay, it wasn't forged, and yeah, okay, whatever, yeah, it's fine. It was, yeah.
All right, what are we going to call it? Is it
fine.
forged or is it
helped? It was helped. I did. I drew it. I think my dad just like maybe corrected some of the stuff. I mean. Maybe that was that. I mean,
used a little AutoCAD on it or something like that. Anyway.
Oh, also, if we're picking a winner for Niagara Falls, I'm going with Weekend.
Oh, right. Yeah, we should have done that. Well, I'm just going to say Will because he's watching the show. So, and I love Will. So, but we'll keep our eye on that. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to say, as I do every week, to support your local directors. They're working hard for you. And we're going to be back next week with another guest. I think we're going to teach Josh to play Scrabble again. I think that's just going to become a weekly thing. And honestly, that might just become the whole show. We'll
hopefully someone more interesting than me. Yeah.
Oh, come on. You gave us that. This is the interesting part, is doing both the play and the interview. We pulled something out of you that was an actual revelation.
Yeah, when like journalists do interviews, they usually prep their subjects before what they're going to be asking.
Yeah, no, but the whole point is it's rapid fire. Because otherwise, how else? Because nobody in a prepared interview would say Iron Man is their favorite superhero.
Fine.
Okay, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Evan, for coming on the show. And we'll see you next week, next Tuesday at 9 p.m. We're going to be live with shows every week unless I get really sick or something between now and Nationals as we start heading towards that. And we'll see you later, everybody. Bye-bye.